or Yahweh Shai. All right, go ahead.
And the head of the woman is the man.
Right, the head of the Ra'ash, okay, meaning who have the preeminence, the dominion over the woman is the man. All right, so how the hell am I going to be, like I say, following this damn woman, all right, trying to tell me what to do? That's a new thing that's within the earth. You know, where I'm going into this whole, of course, instance where the woman trying to, you know, like women trying to tell men they can't do something. They're conducting, of course, official business and such like that. No, this has nothing to do with that. You're actually meddling, all right? And brother gonna have to get the precepts on meddling, not to meddle around with much affairs and stuff. There's one in Sirach and there's another one. If you put meddling, I think it's all right.
Go back to
yeah, get the order.
go to power over ahead.
Yeah.
Look up power, ecstasy.
Okay, it's verse 10. All right. For 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 10. For this cause ought the woman to have. You want me to read up on the word?
That's fine right there. Go to the point, read the word, and let's go.
All right, come. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 10. For this cause ought the woman to have power on her head because of the angels.
Look at the word power. Go down to the point where it talks about the woman covering the head and the authority. And read everything in the point.
So you want me to get the definition?
Ecstasy. Yes, go to the point. Power. Don't read everything, read the point.
Okay. All right, so this definition of power of choice, liberty
No,
of...
go down to where it says a woman is under the authority of her husband. You should be familiar with this word.
Okay, I got you. Let me go back to Genesis 3. Yeah, shall rule over thee. Genesis 3, right?
Somebody help him out.
It'll be in a. So you go back to it.
Oh, he's
And then pull up the word. Right. Go to in the interlinear. Pull up your interlinear.
Here?
Yeah. So, and then where you see the word for power.
Yeah, I clicked that.
Click on it then. Find it. Click it.
All right, another brother get it. Another
got
brother
it.
get it. Go, read.
The word for power in 1 Corinthians 11 and 10,
Go to the point.
Con, it says, a sign of the husband's authority over his wife, the veil with which propriety required a woman to cover herself.
Right.
Break it down.
Yeah, con. And you have it. Read it again. Double, yeah, so I can just break it as I go.
Con.
Go ahead.
Scripture shouldn't be a mystery to anybody.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It says a sign of the husband's authority over his wife.
Right. And so you have a sign or a distinguishing mark of the husband's authority over the wife. Remember, the woman is under, of course, the rule of the man. Okay? Ain't no other way around it. Okay? If he has the authority, as the scriptures say, those that begetteth a wife getteth a possession. He can do as he, of course, is pleases. All right? Go ahead.
It says the veil with which propriety required a woman to cover herself.
Right, and you have, of course, a veil, all right, which is what? A veil is a covering and such. What? Having a head covering is a what? A sign of a woman being within what? Subjection under a man. All right, you got a lot of these women, they'll be married unto what? They'll be married unto a husband, but have no covering and stuff. You know? Like, say, like, for me on top, like, if I see a woman with a covering, I'm pretty much assuming she got a covering, meaning a man, which a cover is a hedge, all right? You can get the scripture in Sirach, where there's no hedge, what, the possession thereof is spoiled, okay, if a brother can get that, all right? Because you got to understand, that man, like I say, what women are looking for, what, they want that protection, all right? Now you have Esau, he's the form of their protection, due to government system and stuff, right? So you got a lot of these women, they running around in, of course, what? At liberty, at freedom, to do as what they please. All right? You have in ancient times and such, she under that man's house, under that man's rule. If she go out and go run out into the wilderness or anything, she's subject to anybody ravishing her, all right, seizing her, right, and taking her by force. All right, she's subject to any type of danger, her being a what? Weaker vessel and such. All right, her being, of course, emotional, not having, of course, being governed by the wisdom as us men. All right, we supposed to be dealing with wisdom. All right, and we're supposed to use that and not go and be emotional as women are, being effeminate, lacking faith and such. We're supposed to rely on these scriptures, which the woman, obviously, like I said, she supposed to be following on her head being the man. All right, like as Adam, all right, had Eve, all right, and Eve was what to follow Adam, but then she listened to the serpent, all right, which is another man in the garden, which was subtle, all right, being very sly and crafty, and he what? Showed her another way, okay? And then, of course, that was introduced unto Adam, and then you have, of course, the fall. All right, so what I call for? Another one? Yeah.
Sirach 36, verse 25.
Right.
Where no hedge is.
Right, a hedge is a protection. Like you have, of course, a ganan or a garden. All right, it's going to protect what's within it, okay? Which, obviously, within your garden, that's your possessions, okay? That's what is what? Precious onto you and such, right? Within your house, you have a border. That's a territory. If you come in here, remember, this is my dominion, right? If you come in here, okay, we got the right to defend ourselves. This is all of the head of the household. Who's the head of the household? It's the man. And everybody, the children, all the different possessions, the animals, anything, the clothes, the money, the substance, all of that, the gold, all of that's under that. And that you, the man, is the head of that, okay? That's the hedge. That's the of course, the protection. All right, go ahead.
Where there's no hedge.
Where there's no hedge. So if there's no hedge, go ahead.
There the possession is spoiled.
The possession thereof is spoiled, okay? So if there's no defense, there's no line of defense, whatever, you obviously got free reign. We can just really go up in there and destroy it, okay? Right? What does Scripture say about if a strong man be binded up? You can get that one too, right? You know, because and this is very important. Our head, so even that, our head being Yahushai, we know we got to keep Chief Yahushai right there, all right, to protect us as our what? Our salvation, all right? So if we go any other way, hey, we can have Esau easily just come right up in. You know, so you got to understand it even beyond, like I said, because remember, we liken onto a woman too. You know?
Somebody got to get that.
Yeah.
Jeremiah 6.
Oh, yeah, get Jeremiah 6 and 2. That real quick.
It is written of the Most High that he's a jealous power.
Right. Jealous with us with a godly jealousy. Okay? Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 2. I have likened the daughter of Zion.
Right, the daughter of Zion represents the Israelites, okay, both kingdoms, northern and southern kingdoms, both Judah, Benjamin, Levi, on down to the northern kingdom, starting with Ephraim on to Issachar. Go ahead.
All right.
And the Israelite foreigners too, okay, not to forget them, okay, that scatter abroad, that lineage go back to an Israelite man, by the way, their father. Go ahead.
To a comely and delicate woman.
A beautiful woman. All right, so we liken onto a woman. So in the scriptures, like I said, it's written in what? Dark sayings and parables. You know, there's time you got to be able to discern it. Oh, that's talking about the nation of Israel right there. All right, being as a woman. All right, like in Genesis, it tell you. We can go into it later, you know? But go ahead.
Verse 3. The shepherds with their flocks shall come unto her. They shall pitch their tents against her round about.
Yep, that's it right there. Yeah, we don't have to go deep. But yeah, you know, go now go. What's the next precept?
You still wanted that Sirach 33:19?
33:19. Yeah, I still want it.
The middle not with many matters.
Yeah, but I want first the preeminence. Huh? Yeah, Bond, let me get that one first, and then we'll get to that where you're talking.
Mark 3, verse 27.
Right?
No man can enter into a strong man's house
Right?
and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house.
Right. Now, our strength is Yakalba Page. So you have, of course, Esau, Edom, which what? He went and what? Like I said, us, because of us discontinuing from our heritage and such, we fall from the law, statutes, commandments, being in ignorance. You have Esau, Edom actually play on that, you know, and he's come literally within our house or our abode, being also our mind. All right, minds and stuff. Because you gotta understand also our bodies is nothing but a abode or a house for our spirits. Okay, so now Esau done came in with obviously different philosophy, you know, the strange women, all right, woman, which has perverted our thinking, okay, and have us thinking contrary to the scriptures, right? So really, if a man done binded you up, like in a mental, like I said, in a trap, he actually literally will do, which he manipulating you. He already done binded you up. He done fastened your arms. So now you're defenseless. You at his, like, he's like a puppet master.
He's controlling you.
Yeah, controlling you and such, right? And now you have it where, as the scriptures say, what it say, when you teach it, basically your son, you grieve the enemy.
And he teaches his son, grieves the enemy.
Right. You have it now that we, of course, have what? Our spiritual fathers, our apostles and elders, a great millstone. You know, elder, different high priests and stuff of the past. You know, Abba Bivens waking up. He, you know, waking us up all as Israelites, okay, through this Holy Spirit. And then now that's grieving, of course, Esau, Edom. You know, and now we're walking and standing up on our feet with the breath of life, which is the wisdom. You know, so now that broke the chains, right? That broke that bind, all right? That done, you're not dry no more. You got, of course, that wisdom, and you lively now, you know? Go ahead. You got, Maya, you was going to get that?
I'm going to get it for you now.
Kind.
They got a preset.
Quick one. Go ahead. We might have a...
Yeah, this is Revelation
Visitor.
chapter 11, verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom in Egypt.
Right. Our dead bodies is us as the Israelites without the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding.
And we need to get this through the precept.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Proverbs.
Go to Proverbs, one or the way.
Yep.
Yep.
Was it 22 and 16?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. It's 22 and 16.
Yeah, get that.
21 and 16, 22.
Shall be in the congregation with D. Brother gonna get it real quick.
You want the revisit enemy?
Yeah, he gonna read this first to back it up, and then we'll get right there. Yeah, go on. Yep.
All right. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 16.
Right.
The man that wandereth
Yeah.
out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead.
Right. Now we wandered. Shalom. Khan. Shalom. Shalom. Yeah, we wandered by what? Going to that word for wandering. You have it that when we, of course, say like you go back to Genesis and the beginnings and stuff in the heavens where we sowed, as it say, like figs and aprons upon ourselves, we took a different identity of the different nations round about by taking their different ways, the other trees. All right? So we went about wandering, all right? Oh, I see a little philosophy. I like that right there. That man said, he gave me some 48 laws of power. You know, I like that right there. Let me add that to my life or something like that. But if it's not obviously in line with the scriptures, it's not right, okay? That's how we wander. Look into the definition for wandering. You got it? Yep, real quick.
You still want the Hebrew?
Yep, so...
Ayah?
Yeah. So Hebrew
All
word.
right, so the ayah would be the Hebrew word for wandering.
Definition.
It means to err, wander,
To err, meaning to sin.
wander, go astray, stagger.
Yeah. Stagger, tottering. Right. What you go into our people, they're drunk when not with wine. Brother got to get that precept. Okay? Yep. I piped on you, but you didn't dance. Right? We minister unto you, giving this truth, but hey, they not hearing. They got dull of hearing. They dull of hearing. Okay? So they can't hear. You got to understand the spiritual end of everything. All right? That we speaking. All right? Because this is real deep. You know how we erred. All right? To understand these scriptures, you go into these different parables and break them down like this, precept upon precept. Do thy precept and get understanding, right?
Yep.
Okay? Yep. Y'all got the other one piped and not dance? I quote it. What does that say? Drunk when not with strong drink. All right? Got to get up so we can break this all down because, like I said, we got different, proselytes or new believers coming in. They need to understand the different dark sands within the precepts to understand the book. Because remember, right before the truth, hey, it was kind of like, we couldn't figure it out, right? I was reading about the children. Like, I just remember picking up the Bible and saying, children of Israel, why are the people in the church not talking about these people? I see elect, 12 tribes. Why are they not talking about these people? But you break down and understand these different parables and stuff. This is how you do it.
Yeah, Luke 7 and verse 31.
Right.
And the Lord said, whereunto then shall I liken the men of this generation?
Mm-hmm.
And to what are they like? 32. They are like unto children sitting in the marketplace
Mm-hmm.
and calling to one another
Right.
and saying, we have piped unto you, and ye have not danced.
Mm-hmm.
We have mourned to you, and ye have not wept.
Right, and like you have it where we're giving you this preaching and stuff, right? You're supposed to be in a repentant or a sorrowful spirit, right? You're supposed to hear this and be like, damn, man, I'm a sinner. I'm going off. Look, how can I get right? But you have it, Jake will be sitting out there just like right now. A Israelite will walk by as we saying this, but then the tune that we're speaking, which is our words, the new song which you're speaking, this doctrine, they're not hearing it, right? It's just like, I just keep going by. So it's like, because remember, like a song is like an enchantment. It gets you under a spell, and it's a certain vibe that's going out,
It's an energy, it's a frequency.
Right.
It moves you in a certain way.
Which this will move you and stir up your mind by the way of remembrance. Okay, because you once knew this. So if you hear this and the Lord draw you in, hey, it may be because you was elect back in the ancient times and such, But go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you still want that?
Isaiah, you wanted Isaiah?
What you got?
29:9?
Yeah, that's what I got too.
Okay. Well, yeah, you read it, man.
Isaiah chapter 29, verse 9.
Damn, this ground rock brown.
Rock solid?
Brown, solid.
like concrete.
Yeah.
That's probably what we're
Hey,
saying.
that's how we gotta be. Rock solid.
Firm, yeah.
Out there, steadfast in this truth.
Unmoved.
That's like
firm.
that, unmovable, firm. When somebody push that base so strong, that balance is right. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 29, verse 9.
Yep.
Stay yourselves in wonder. Cry ye out and cry.
Mm-hmm.
They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink.
Right. So they're no staggering with strong drink, being that it's not an actual bottle of wine that they're actually drinking, right? No, we're talking something else. We're talking a parable. Go ahead.
All right. Going forward, next verse.
For
the Lord.
That's the point. But yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, verse 10. For the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep.
Right, deep sleep. Okay, so, hey, going into these Jake, they're spiritually dead. Okay? They know alive. Okay, because they ain't been reinvigorated by this truth, the life. Go ahead.
All right. And have closed your eyes.
And close your eyes so you can't see the vision. You can't see the prophecy. You can't see the truth. Thus the Lord have a what? Controversy with you. Go ahead.
The prophets and your rulers, the seers have he covered.
Right. The prophets, the seers, they're synonymous together. As a seer is a prophet. He can ride, he can see. All right? They've been covered. Meaning, you have, of course, Israelites that are, of course, false prophets out there that don't have the vision and they can't see. They're deceived, So you even see it, like the leaders of our people cause us, you have them in the different churches and such, harlot houses and such, that actually are what? They teach you this doctrine. Oh, come over here to Jesus. The blood of Jesus. It's not Jesus, Yahushua. The dome of Yahushua, the blood of Yahushua over us. All right? But they got a covering on them. You got different, like dudes like Martin Luther King. The dude's covered.
Yeah,
all right, who else? Marcus Mark.
It's an all-inclusive spirit.
Yeah.
Too. And that's the thing. That's not actually taught in the scriptures. That's something that they made up to appeal to the masses for followings, for money, for gain.
Yep.
Because they want to advance in this life.
Yeah.
They're not really preaching of the kingdom that is to come.
Yeah.
Because in order for you to actually preach the kingdom, then you need to get into the hard subject matter of the scriptures, the controversies, the judgments, which they won't touch.
Can I say something too on that?
Of course.
And to be honest, that's the only thing Esau will allow you, basically you niggers, to fucking say. That's what Esau said. That's what Esau allows y'all spics to say. He ain't gonna allow you to speak the truth. That's why you can get away with saying all that, because you're of the world. But really, Esau, daddy boy, white man, is allowing you fucking Jakes to preach lies. Because if like I said, if you were teaching the truth like we do, they shut us down. So that's how you know. You know what I mean? I just want to make that keynote. The reason why there's all that teach about love is because Esau allows it.
Yeah.
Because he knows it benefits the lies and the hypocrisy that he,
pushed out.
Yeah, pushed out himself.
That Renaissance Christianity, like I said, that slave Bible, which said they kept out 70% at least of the Bible, the whole entirety, and only preached certain bits.
Yeah,
which
right.
was
And that Bible was made for low IQ people.
yeah.
Because the people that had the Holy Spirit would search more.
Yeah.
And the Lord will get you to the whole scripture.
That's it.
And why?
Because it doesn't matter if it was
No.
omitted or not. Jake going to believe what Esau teaching anyway.
Yep.
So if it was just one page, Jake would go with it. Then if Esau gave him 10 more pages, they go with that. Because that people are stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and why would Esau stop our people from teaching plantation Christianity? Why would Esau stop that? Like I said, he created this type of belief that our people eat up and then push those lies forward. So they basically helping Esau push those lies, and our people are so drunk on that juice, on that Christianity doctrine and stuff like that. That they're so swallowed up in it. That's why Jake, when you try to teach older Jake, man, they're all in that love and I gotta blame the white man. I gotta blame the white man. Man, look all the shit he done to us, man. He got you so tied up in his fucking up in his rectal cavity that you can't see straight, man.
Yeah. Hey, man. Y'all right under him. Y'all love y'all oppressors.
Our people got their heads so far up the so-called white man's ass, man, that they can't see the lies and the fucking atrocities that he's done to us and continues to do to us.
And that's a spoken word of prophecy. It says that they stay on him that smote them.
Yep.
Yeah, all our great grandmothers, not all of them. I know my brother's grandmother has Cesare Borgia, a little picture square, right in an old apartment. I remember seeing that, taking her to the grocery store one day and seeing Cesare Borgia in a little picture. Like, oh shit, she has that too.
Yep.
Like, wow. So she believed in Christ Jesus, Serapis Christus. She believed that shit. She's from the South. So, people from the South, they're a little different than mine. So their minds are indoctrinated from the plantation. And certain things they still didn't learn, even though they had the pastor was an Edomite. He gave them the whole Bible, but still the interpretation was left up to Esau. To forgive everybody because he did so much damn evil.
Right.
So that forgiveness thing was preached to calm Judah, made Judah down. And Issachar.
That concept, again, that goes back to the scriptures. The scriptures talk about he who seeketh love hideth the transgressions. Well, that's why they're hell bent on this idea of forgive and forget. But there's no context there. Yeah. What are we forgiving? What are we supposed to forget? Yeah. So they tie that into their doctrine to try to pacify and quell Jake. That's why the Lord said, who gonna rouse him up?
Oh, yep.
Because Jake need to be roused up. Yep. But you need to be taught the context of what's really going on, these dynamics that are at work here, that are at play. Okay? Which the main two characters, let's say, in the Lord's story is Jacob and Esau. And you have to understand the different, like I said, dynamics of them circumstances. Okay? We're not just saying this just out of mere emotion. Okay? There are particular things that have happened according to prophecy, which is why things are the way that they are. All right? The condition of our people, okay, that perpetual hatred that Esau has, okay, Esau pursued blood, all right? That's part of his characteristic. Okay, he was made and designed to be created as the wicked, and he has done what? He has taken peace from off of the earth. That's not just something we made up. That's an actuality. That's a reality. And he's playing his part in prophecy. So we understand that. And that's what it comes down to, your understanding. And on the receiving end of that is the Israelites. Okay? Esau is hell-bent on snuffing out the Lord's people. And if you don't believe us, look at his track record. Anytime he has an agenda or he's promoting something, he's targeting the Israelites.
Yeah, man.
And it's confirmed, Salaki, brother, it's confirmed in the scriptures. Because everything that we say is filtered through the word of our power, Yahweh Shem Shai. That's why you got scriptures like Psalms, the 2nd chapter, Psalms 83. All right? Where it specifically tells you that these nations consented with one another, to cut the nation off from being a nation of Israel, off from being a nation, from being a people, and trying to separate us from our power. Because these nations collectively know something that Israel's ignorant to. You know what that thing is? It's something that they knew in the past too. If you keep Israel separated from their power, we're vulnerable. We have no one to call on. We had nothing to stand on. Our enemy, when you go into the different historical accounts in the scriptures, they knew the best time to go after Israel was when they were rebelling against their power. Because the Lord took away, like you were saying earlier, that head. The head was gone. But once we reconnect with our power, now they got a problem. That's why we reading what we're reading about being, and I'm going to throw it to you because I know you want to make a point, but I just want to bring it full circle because I was reading Revelation 11 for a specific reason. You said that these Edomites and these nations are in fear, and it's true because that breath of life has entered back into us. We're reconnecting with our power again, being put in a position of strength because the Lord is setting up the kingdom of the Israelites, not the kingdom of all people, the kingdom of the nation of Israel, which comprises of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And then you, scattered abroad Israelites, who may have lost your physical characteristics of what a traditional Israelite may look like, but nonetheless, if you have the faith, then you're being called into the fold.
Who's mainly rebelling in America? You got the natives in Judah, and then you got Esau. Because the Arabs not a threat in America. East India is not a threat. They don't give a shit. They'll never riot and none of that. Only people that will be rioting really is Jacob and Esau. So those are the two main threats. Right? You got Esau with the militias and all that. You're afraid of that. They got doing investigations on them. I'm sure they got a file on all us too. Our internet usage and all with our purchases and internet history. And everything we say, they collect and they put in a file. But Esau's main objective to bring in this new world order is to keep everybody separated. All right, mainly the Israelites separated, and stifle the power of the Edomites that are going to riot too. All right, the main fear that Esau has is losing his power. The only people he can lose his power to is Israel. Right. He can't lose his power to anybody else but the children of Israel. Right. He can't lose his power to China. All right, the Russians are Edomites too. All right, India. Those are the more powerful nations. Japan, they're already conquered. All right, but America allows them to sell their cars in the States so they can make their little bit of money, and they get to keep their succession of rulers behind the scenes. All right, but the main threat is Jacob. All right, and they display that by constantly ignoring us. All right, so they don't really display it. We're having a spiritual battle that mostly, if you're not awoke, you're not going to be able to see. All right, that's why people don't believe it. All right? Their objective is to keep the children of Israel separated and ignorant. All right? This is why they started the policy on different social media programs to you don't have free speech. Well, it is a private company, so you don't have freedom of speech on somebody else's property. So
that's the loophole that they hold. That's the loophole because see these corporations. When you go into the so-called pyramid of their power structure, which I'm not saying pyramid coincidentally, it's literally because that's how they worship. They worship that spirit. We just read about spiritually Egypt and Sodom. They actually worship those different ideologies, gods, so on and so forth. This is why you have in Washington, D.C., on top of the obelisk, you got a pyramid. Nevertheless, their scheme is that they have the Council for Relations, right? The CFR, they got the Council of 13. They got all these different dynamics of the power structure. And right 2 or 3 in, I believe, it's the corporations, which are all dictated by these governments. So this is where they can say, okay, you have freedom of speech, except here.
Yeah.
But they're not telling you it because they're diverting the attention onto the on the companies, the corporations.
Yeah.
Gives them plausible deniability. So this is the game that they're playing. And remember, it's all psychological warfare.
They supposed to something like that. They figured out they were all together.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yep.
You wanted this guy, they want the other guy, then even though he's an insider too, but using an example, he figured out that everybody was together. Everybody, he wanted one person. I forget how the analogy went, but he realized that they all were working together.
Right. Also all interconnected.
Right. Yeah. In one way or another, that's the cousin or the brother or the third cousin of the dude, your manager or your agent. You find out that y'all know each other. So if you try to fire that agent, go to another agent, well, they went to college together.
Right.
And they kind of wanted the similar feat. So the feat was you had to blow his ride. And so the other guy, he gonna tell the other guy, well, he ain't want to do that. So he'll make him do something else that may be less, intrusive on the psyche. And this is why these actors be on like DMX. What's that Edomite bitch that was going through that jail? Hillary Duff or another one? It was another Edomite bitch that was going through a bunch of jail shit, showing up in court, drinking, doing drugs, because they trying to forget the shit they had to do.
Oh, Britney Spears?
Huh?
Britney Spears?
Not Britney, but after Britney Spears. But yeah, Britney Spears too, but after Britney Spears. It's one of them Edomite bitches.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Bitches.
There's a redheaded bitch too that was in and out too. Up there.
I just wanted to make another point. Part of that scheme, because we live. See, you think that you elect these officials and then they advocate on behalf
of the people.
But what we live in, and I'm going to break down 2 things. So we live in what you would call a bureaucracy, which is unelected officials making important decisions, who are really making these bills, passing them off to the politicians. Of course, they have inside deals, and then they approve the bill. But deeper than that, we have also a technocracy. And you've seen that during the scandemic. Why?
Yeah.
When the president got up there, who did he have all alongside of him? He had Pfizer, Walgreens, Amazon, Walmart. Yeah, they're all up there. They're all up there, and they're the ones making the decisions for this, how they're going to move forward in expediting these different plans and orders during the time of the scandemic. Yeah. So we live in a technocracy, and if I may, I'm going to read it. I'm going to read a definition of it so we can get some more understanding. It says a government or social system controlled by technicians, especially scientists. And what was their motto? What is their motto still?
Trust the science. And you had dude like
Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Don't good to do research, but on medical things, don't do research. They actually said that. Don't do research. So if they saying that, then I mean, you got to use critical thinking. You might want to look critical thinking up. Did somebody look critical thinking up?
And Con, while you're getting that, remember what this gave them the power and authority to do. Regulate the flow of information even more. Yeah. This is why the algorithm got more aggressive.
If you put something against CV-19, then they actually say the CDC. It was, you had, remember that bubble one?
Listen, you can't, brothers. Listen. Instagram. When brothers are scrolling through Instagram, right? We don't really. I be on Instagram a ton. You know that before you can see the video, it blanks it out and says, "This has not been reviewed" or something like that. Do you still want to watch it?
Oh yeah, this hasn't been mature.
Well, no, not just that. It hasn't been fact checked or whatever. Do you still want to view this material? See, they're trying to desensitize people in not doing research and just accepting, oh, well, this hasn't been researched, this hasn't been fact checked. I'm not wasting my time with this conspiracy, or I'm not wasting my time with this information. So they're planting that seed of doubt to believe and gain control of the narrative. I forget exactly how it comes up, but now on Instagram, if it's considered controversial or it goes against the grain, it's not part of the mainstream narrative, it just blocks it out. They hit the, you know how lazy people are, so they'll just keep scrolling. Like I'm not wasting my time with that. You see how people are already. They don't even like to watch the news, and that's all fluff. But yeah, exactly. So these algorithms, they got more aggressive. They crack down. Okay, you can't say certain, things. All right, which it was already like that, but now it's more aggressive. Why? Because they're tying everything together. Which is what? Their CBDCs, social credit, be a good citizen, so to speak. Right? Remember, it was the WHO. Was it the WHO? I think it was the WHO or the CDC who said that anti-VA double Xers were murderers. So they already put a negative connotation on those who have a difference in opinion.
And it affects stupid people.
Critical thinking, right? So it says especially scientists and technical experts. Remember, they're the ones dictating what an expert is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they hire their own fact checkers.
Yeah. Right.
And they decide what they'll approve, what they won't approve.
So that's bias.
And no one questions whether or not who gave that guy the right to fact check.
Yeah.
No one's questioning like, well, what's so fucking special about that guy that he knows how to fact check?
His degree.
Yeah.
And remember,
that's why they're questioning this guy, Bill Snakes.
Yeah.
Like who?
Yeah.
This ain't a medical professional. He's giving you medical advice.
The dude's a fucking.
He steps down and
Microsoft.
he went under the radar. So now, so you have to ask yourself a question. He ain't part of this. If he ain't part of at least somewhat of the conspiracy, then why the hell you doing all this stepping down and being in the background now? Because why? Because he got a lot of attention. A lot of attention, especially for that talk he gave.
That TED talk. Years ago. Was that TED?
Where he explicitly said, if they do a great job on the VA word, and contraceptives, we can reduce that number. Now, what does contraceptives do? Reduce birth rates.
Yeah.
It's that he didn't misspeak.
Yeah.
He said it in a way, because remember, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So he said it in a way where he was telling you what they were going to do. It goes back to what the brother wants him to read on critical thinking. So people hear it, and they just like, it doesn't resonate. It doesn't like, whoa, wait a minute. Did he just say what I think he just said? He absolutely did. Because these people have been dumbed down. They've been pacified. Like Elder Apostle will call me saying these people are the product of GMOs. Because GMOs does what? Bad diet equates to low cognitive ability. Okay? Go ahead.
Critical thinking in the Wikipedia. Critical thinking is the analysis of available facts, evidence, observations, and arguments to form a judgment.
Available facts. So basically how these dumbasses try to win arguments, they ignore 50% of the facts and just go with who they believe instead of analyzing all the facts.
Yeah.
Like whether it be the World Trade Center being an inside job or the existence of a deep state is a shadow government. You gotta use your critical thinking.
Look up that word analysis.
They forget about the Israelis they captured in Jersey City, I believe, laughing, celebrating when the towers is going down. Don't even talk about that anymore. That's a fact. That's published. So, but conspiracies don't exist apparently. So I guess they're the ones that apparently that were planting the explosives. Or they might have been checking on the explosives that was already put there. Yeah, and it's a hard job. That's the point, because they got to bring the damn buildings down.
Right. Then they prematurely reported the building 7 going down.
Right, that went down by a fire apparently, and he said pull it. Silverstein said pull the building. All right, another little hat, I guess he owned the building, and then owned the insurance company. It's a big monopoly.
Then Bush slipped up. When he went on television giving the interview, it said, I looked up at the TV and I thought to myself, oh boy, there's a terrible pilot. And the guy was like, well, Mr. Bush,
terrorist killers.
There wasn't any video footage of the first plane hitting the plane hitting the tower until the next day. So, you raise a good point. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Video was released. They seized all the video from the local stores and all that around D.C. And then all they gave us was frames of the plane going into the Pentagon.
He said he looked up at the TV and said that he saw the plane hit the building and thought to himself, well, there goes a terrible pilot.
Right, yeah.
But there was no footage of that. So why the hell are you saying that?
Yeah.
Because he already knew.
Yeah, it wasn't confirmed that was a plane. Right?
I don't know if it was necessarily put out that it was a plane. It was just the fact that he made the statement that he looked at the TV and saw it, but that wouldn't have been possible because footage of a plane hitting the towers didn't surface until the next day. It was airing on the news.
Right.
So that was a little suspicious.
Yeah, a lot of that was
Why would you say
private,
that?
cameras.
Yeah.
They were submitted to the news.
Right.
How could they get it to the news? It's like
Right.
yeah,
In that short frame of time when he's being interviewed too, it's like, okay, why are you saying that? And they never explain that. It's just kind of, they made it go away, you know? And remember, a lot of times they do things to distract you. There'll be major events going on. All of a sudden now we talking about some sort of controversy or celebrity scandal or...
What he was supposed to say was, I had a report of a plane.
Right.
Not that he looked at the screen.
Yeah, he told on himself. He inadvertently told on himself.
Yep.
That he had information that nobody else had.
Yeah, they were prematurely reporting the buildings going down and everything. The time frames were messed up. Right. They were reporting before it was actually happening.
Yeah, which goes into that word analysis too. You know, brother God, but like you gotta like literally like put the pieces together. When you start to see like, wait a minute, something don't add up, and Esau's known for like literally like he just will blatantly lie, like, you know, wear a mask, don't wear a mask. Masks are good for you, they're not good for you. It's like what the fuck? And then you know he's full of shit.
Well, here's the thing about that. I don't mean to interrupt your thought process, but that was a mass psychological operation.
Right. Policy, not laws.
All that really was about. I'm not saying that there weren't effects tied to it, because of course they over here in the Dayton people with we know somewhat of what they're doing, and it's very harmful. It's causing all types of, you know, different health effects. People are dropping dead. But what I was getting ready to say was, that was just to see how much they can get away with without the resistance.
Yep.
Right. When you go into policies too, you look on the doors. You have expiration dates on the policy. And people don't even know about that.
Yeah. Because they weren't even trying after a certain point. They were just telling people whatever they needed to.
Yep.
Wear cloth over your face.
Right.
It'll save you.
Right.
Then wear surgical masks.
Wear the surgical mask. The cloth masks aren't acceptable.
You said double mask.
Double mask.
Double mask. Stay away from people.
Yeah.
Right.
The stuff it lasts on metal. They tested it and it was still on metal after 24 hours.
Yeah.
Shit like that. Like,
Oh yeah.
only these dumbass people was believing this shit.
Then it's possibly on money. Then they took that.
Oh yeah. Then there's a coin shortage. So it's a coin shortage, motherfucker. You stop making coins.
That's how you know it's a psychological operation, and they were just seeing how far they can go with it. They're just throwing a whole bunch of things.
These dumbass people, like, I never like the money anyway. I use my car for everything anyway. You know? It's agreeing with it.
During this one,
Esau.
people ain't really going to be paying attention, but the next one, that's what people are going to be, you know, having to worry about, and they're going to pay more attention to. I forget, I don't know if that was Bill Snakes or...
Fucking devastating.
Right.
Flesh eating stuff that'll get people scared, but just bullets and other bullshit like this, that ain't gonna really work too much.
Right.
They gotta do something way crazier.
Right, because the next, whether it's biological or it's a combination of things, because it might be a combination of things, because this whole system is getting ready to be totally put out, man. Like Elder Apostle Hart just recently said, he believes that they're going to do something major to make this transition. Like not what they did with the incrementalism, with the, you know, the scandemic, where they were incremental. You know, first it was a epa, you know what.
Yeah.
Then it was a pan, you know what.
Bat thing.
Right. Then it was a bat thing. Then it was So with this next thing, it might be a culmination of events and then like a major catastrophe on top of it, and then it's just like, okay, well listen, we can't use the money. The grid is down. People are sick from 3-4 different viruses. Because remember, that's another thing. Now they called it a tridemic. Now we got to worry about. So they just punching in whatever, you know, whatever they got left, you know, to just keep that train moving to ultimately make that transition, you know. But you said that word analysis? Yeah.
In Wikipedia, analysis is the process of breaking a complex topic or substance
Now
into...
get the scripture on it. No, get the scripture about the prudent man.
Analysis is the process of breaking a complex topic or substance into smaller parts in order to gain a better understanding of it.
Yeah, like the steel melting on jet fuel. You can't they had melted steel from the Twin Towers, and steel doesn't, you need higher temperatures to melt steel. And it's steel that was melted.
Yep.
and the building imploded in on itself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And then out of
yeah,
all
yeah.
that rumble and destruction, they happen to find a passport.
Yeah, and a duffel bag. Yeah.
Whatever identification
Yep.
of the individual who supposedly crashed.
Yeah, that blows my
What's the
mind.
other contradiction? They started showing up alive at work. They were saying one dude was a cab driver. They were regular citizens who they said they were on them planes, but they were actually alive working in their neighborhoods. All right, y'all can look that up.
Yep.
They were accusing certain people of hijacking the planes, but they were, I believe I saw an interview, at least 4 of them were being interviewed that their names were being said as the terrorists on the planes, but they were alive working regular jobs.
And all the critical thinkers that's using the evidence to analyze the evidence, they got 2 things for you. They either got a grave for you or a jail cell.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, we're moving to them times.
Yeah,
You know? We're
and
moving into them times.
that's revelation.
Yeah, they say this is an unlawful. We have a right to assemble peacefully in America anyway. You know, they don't have that everywhere in the world. You know, we have that here. This is how you know that the truth came out of the American Israelites.
Well, they even took that away during this event because they said that you need to remain 6 feet or
yeah.
more.
Yep. So yeah, they were
We
testing
couldn't-
that.
So they were
testing that.
Remember,
Yeah.
we couldn't congregate at a point. Remember?
Yeah.
We couldn't.
It was more efficient for us to just do the indoor lives
Yeah.
than to deal with the problems that may
If you
arise
go
and
groups
persist. Because you remember, you had a
certain
group.
number.
You had a group going back with the officer. I don't know if it was the ISUPK or IUIC. They were on the corner, and they were all like standing really close together. And the cops were trying to break them up and say, "Listen, y'all got to spread apart."
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all remember that video, but anyway,
I ain't get to see that.
yeah, it was a video. It was a video. I guess they complied, but imagine we trying to hold a show and brothers. Come on, man, that's not practical.
all the way over there.
You know, that's not practical. So you know, we had to adapt, but the word still went out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we spaced out for like a week.
Yeah.
We stopped there.
Right. It didn't make sense. That didn't make sense. But we still were able to, get the word out via the unicorn. Which there's a time where that's gonna stop too.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna just be the highways and byways. It's gonna be that too. Right.
Yeah,
He's like, he want to control all the data, and as long as we got free access to the internet, he can't control it because the internet is pretty much open in America anyway. So like in China and Korea, North Korea, there's certain buffers you got to go through and all that. These servers, you got gatekeepers. All right, but in America, we're more free, so we got the access to the internet. We can look anything up we want. We can go to any website, that we want. So Esau gonna have to limit access to information in order for his system of control to come in.
That's why they, like you like to go into, they did that thing with net neutrality, which they didn't fully put into effect, but they got it there. Limit your access to certain websites, slow it down, right?
Yeah, for all,
Which is just a form of regulation.
Or if he don't do that, say the internet's so open, he can limit your access to move. So we, in America anyway, I'm acknowledging that we can do things in America that other places can't do. So that's why the Lord made it so that the truth came out of America. All right. So we got the freedom of movement apparently, right? We can move freely throughout the country. You can't restrict our movement except on private property and restricted areas, right? So we can move about free. So what Esau can do, he can limit our movement. All right. So but that would go over, the Constitution and all that. But Esau, but it was rumored that George Bush said that the Constitution, Bill of Rights and all that stuff, the Constitution was a piece of paper that needed to be updated or some shit like that. So they're gonna do, limit our movement. We're supposed to be able to move freely. This is why we can peacefully assemble here today. First we got a God-given right. All right, not because of a piece of paper Esau said, but Esau, we're contractual slaves. So.
If I could say too, 'cause I want to add like a good point to all you brothers were saying, and the brother, Dabaq quoted, Elder Apostle Tahar, but like you gotta know, like Esau basically just needs to bridge that gap, and I don't think people realize how like close that gap really is. So Esau's playing like, how they say like 3D chess and whatnot. Like he's building. Imagine a bridge, right? They build a bridge coming into each other, right? So they build the one side and the other side, and it usually connects like in the middle, right? So he's building that other side of the bridge while he's also building the bridge to connect, and there's that gap. So the people don't realize how like all these things like the RFID C-HIP is like really closer than what you really believe. All the technology is there, right? All these legislations that he signed back in 2001 and back, in the previous years are all set to when something major does happen, it's literally going to connect. It's going to immediately connect it all together. So it's a lot. It's not like far out. It's not like you say, oh man, the end is right there. It's like, no, all they need is something to happen to bridge all these gaps and put all these pieces together. It's like building separate pieces, and then you just need one giant piece in the middle to connect it all together. But they only need just one big thing, and it will make the whole, basically everything come to pass.
If they declare martial law, then the Constitution is not Bill of Rights and all that.
Yep.
It's in the background.
It
doesn't.
And all that's been signed. All that's been signed years ago. That's all stuff that they already thought about years ago.
Yeah, and they had military law before. We had a
Yep.
couple. If you look the history up, you'll see when the times when the military rule and they put the Constitution in the background.
Yep.
So the
And
Constitution's not going to last military
Yep.
rule. At the
Yep.
time military rules was time of martial law. Then you're going to have the military making the laws. The military going to say when you can go out, when you can come back, where areas you're allowed to go to, because they have to control your movement. They can effectively control the people. But they don't necessarily have to have a concentration camp. They can just control your movement outside of your neighborhood. They can regulate it. They have a block captain. That you can't go in and out the block unless you go through your block.
Yep.
And you got to say where you're going. In a time of this type of crisis event.
Yep. Yeah. This CV-19 really tested the bounds of what Esau really can do, man. And like, it's really creating that bridge. So we know we're in them times, man. We're in them times that like it has never been seen before. And all we need is Esau to do one major event, and it's gonna really like wrap things up, to where we're in that real end time where Jacob's trouble's afloat, where you only have Yahweh Shema Shai to lean on. I mean, that's all you have now to lean on, but people think that they can lean on.
Yeah, we still can go to gas stations and fill like gas is cars. Fill our cars up with gas. We can still go to the supermarket and all that.
Yep.
But it's gonna come
Eggs might be mad expensive. Gas might be mad expensive, but you can go get it. You can make enough money. There's jobs out there. You can get yourself a job. You can make yourself, a decent bit of money to get the so-called essentials, even though they're obviously overpriced.
Right. Yeah, you still go get car repairs. And we got freedom of movement now. But in the time of Tom and Jacob's trouble, we're not going to have freedom of movement. So if that's true, that means Esau is trying to take away our God-given rights to move, to assemble. And then the Constitution, that's out the window. Because we've got the right to peacefully assemble. We're not breaking any laws. All right? Now, you can't trespass us from here if we're not breaking any laws. It's public property. So, but Esau, he'll come and try to make up, causing a disturbance. So if he causes a disturbance, now he can evict us from he can trespass us and say you can't come back here for a year or something like that. Esau's the fucking devil. Psalm 64 and Isaiah 10. But that's what they try to do. We got freedom, but except if you do this or you're accused of this or they have evidence of this, then they can revoke your right and put paperwork on you. Good.
Psalms chapter 64, verse 1. To the chief musician, a Psalms of David, hear my voice, O power, in my prayer.
Go down to where it goes into the secret counsel.
Verse 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity.
Right, so if we were in the world stupid, doing everything the world was doing, we wouldn't even know about any of this stuff. We would just think there's a crazy guy in the corner with a sign. He didn't have an Edomite with a beard. He looked old, and he got the sign up, yelling and all that. We would think, maybe he's saying some truth, but we really don't care too much. But now that we awake, we know the program Esau has set up. We know about the black helicopters. We know about the black helicopters and all that. We know about the microphones, the directional microphones they got, hidden cameras.
Yeah, they got them in them street lights and stuff.
Yeah, they're rumored to be in cable boxes, the old cable boxes. They might be in new, I don't know. They're rumored to be in the cable boxes. All right. All our phones are bugged, all right, because all the data that goes through the wireless network, goes through the servers and all that. And what Esau does is he goes down to your head end, your Comcast, Verizon, and they ask, Homeland Security comes in and says they want to look at this, that, and that, and they just let them do it. right? Because we don't have no privacy. And if they want, if the government wants it, they literally just buy it from the telecommunications companies.
Yeah.
So that's a fact. I mean, so we don't have any actual privacy. We just have the illusion of privacy. All right. So that's the secret council. All right. Because they build a case against the Lord's anointed, and against the other militias and all that stuff. People they're investigating. You know.
They constantly listen to you. You can say, I want some pancakes, and then go into your email. The first email you got.
You put PA in,
yeah.
well, PA, and then the pancake somewhere. Yeah. Or you listen to some music on YouTube Music, and then you start going on YouTube or Google, and then it starts saying similar stuff you just listened to on the music, or vice versa. Like they know they're predictive typing because they share the servers are interconnected. You know. Now get Isaiah 10 about the laws.
Artificial intelligence.
Right, yeah. And they got to get faster and faster. As the data grows, they have the processing power has to get faster. And it tells you that in Daniel too, right? About you just get information faster, that precept. And as we go further into the future, the technology is going to get, the process is going to get faster. That's what we're to access information fast.
That's more evidence on how we know. That's why they want to get everybody seeing it. They want everybody to get the MOTP because it's all going to be interlinked. Everything's going to be interlinked. There's a reason why they have those predictions, they have those algorithms, they got information of us stored on databases because it comes down to having that ultimate form of control. It's about manipulation, it's about control. If they could play on your desire, on your pleasure, then you're more susceptible to take that C hit. You know, because they're gonna play into that. That's why it's called the hour of temptation. You're gonna be tempted. Okay. Yeah. It's called the hour of temptation for a reason. You know, that's why we gotta be, disciplined in our minds, right? And follow out the Yahweh Shai for that hedge, because, our lives are at stake. Our very well-being is at stake. You know. Right.
Yeah,
And that's what
they know what's going on at the store, but they don't know who specific. Well, I guess by a credit card too. But they can have it build another database by using a discount card.
It gives them the ability to track you. It gives them the ability to have that information about what you're purchasing and everything else about you in their databases.
Yep.
That's what they already, like brothers are giving you the examples with the phone, right? Like I remember probably like 3-4 years ago, we were in the car. I think we were getting ready to go to the park and maybe do a video, get something to eat. We were getting ready to do something with a couple of different brothers. And I remember you were looking at your Google, and the whole time you were logged to your account, they had a whole history of this brother's recent places to the minute, to the day, to the actual location.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh shit, I gotta log out this."
Fuckers.
Yeah, turn that. But there's gonna come a time when it's not gonna be optional.
Yep.
Yeah, they're gonna know where you're at all times, what you're doing at all times, who you're doing it with, so on and so forth. Because it's all gonna be based upon your behavior, social credit, and that's gonna determine whether or not they keep your C-hip active or they turn it off. Which they're just gonna do that to people anyway, because this is the devil. Now we're not advocating for it because there's an elect that's not gonna go along with the program, right? This is why they got, they have the guillotines getting ready and prepared, right? Because they know that there's a certain number of Israelites that aren't going to worship the image or take his mark. Okay?
I got a testimony about I had got locked out of my Yahoo account. In order for me to get my Yahoo account activated again, I had to scan the front of my license and the back of my license. So now they tying everything into, because you used to could just create an account without no identification. Now they tying everything together.
Right.
With your identity.
Phone number. It started with the damn phone number.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
They got people used to using biometrics more. That's why you can unlock your phone with your face fingerprint. Now, the thing of it is, what's crazy is, like with these different companies, trying to be more aggressive with their security, a lot of the times what ends up happening is the only person that ends up being prevented access from that account is you, because you got to remember all these passcodes. And, well, okay, sir, we know that you gave us your social security number. We know we have your name, and that's your voice. But now, what's the passcode that we have with the account? Can you give us? Oh, well, if you can't remember that, we can't let you onto the account. It's like, what the?
Crazy.
I just want to know how much I owe, bro.
Yeah.
That's how. I just want to know how much I owe.
Well, what we gotta verify is you.
Yeah.
You know,
a lot
we
of
get
times,
data breaches.
yes, it's crazy, man. So what does that mean? They're being stricter because they're really controlling you through all these security measures. They want control over you and limit your access. They're not worried about, I mean, not to say that there isn't scams and hackers on the rise. Of course there is, but remember, they are allowing those things as another justification for using the C-hit, okay? It's gonna be inside you, right? Ain't nobody gonna be able to take that out of you, right? You know? Again, they're gonna play into convenience as well as the idea of safety. And we've seen commercials. They ran a whole advertisement on a local news station where they asked mothers in particular, since we were getting on the woman earlier about, you know, we didn't explicitly get the scripture, but brothers were going into how they need to have a hedge of a man to be well protected, because without it, they're subject and vulnerable. Brothers gave the example what happened in the garden. All right? And the scriptures tell you that the Most High deprived her of wisdom. So they were going to the women and they were saying, listen, what if there was a device that could take away the concern of your child going missing or being kidnapped and could be immediately located with this device? What would you say to that? And they all collectively said that would be great. I would be at ease. It would take away the stress and the concern that I have of if ever my child were to go missing or kidnapped. And I remember that.
Esau's really fucking stupid. There's ways you can take the chip into your arm, into your hand, right? But you can take it out and put like a false skin, put the chip back in, and kind of trade the chip around. You know? So Esau, he wants to have multiple identificating marks. You know, you want to have your face, what you look like. Cause there was an episode of Zigzag, an episode of Outer Limits. Episode's called Zigzag, and a dude got locked out of his apartment because his chip didn't work. He tried to wave it. It was a video doorman that came through the screen outside of his apartment, and he couldn't get in because his chip was he reprogrammed his chip to be somebody else. All right, so even if you got the chip, if other parameters don't add up to what Esau looking for, he still can fuck you over. Because you go to the airport and you scan your chip, they're gonna be looking at you, they're gonna be scanning you and all that. And if everything don't add up, you know, there's fraud or something. You know, there's fraud. You know, lock your ass up. You know. So yeah, you still gonna have.
Why is your face say John Doe, but your chip says, you know.
Right.
Hey, wait,
you know,
says that
Sarah Lee, you know, whatever the hell, you know.
Well, your chip is right, but your face is wrong because you know you dark skin and the cameras are biased toward, I guess, people of color.
Right. And they could deliberately put faults in the system for those types of situations because this man is diabolical. Like this brother is saying, don't try to figure out the way this man thinks because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. He's not thinking in righteous means, so he might put things in there to deliberately mess with you. Okay, but Esau's technology is already faulty also. So you're going to run into that problem regardless, you know? That's why, you know, these systems, they need to be updated. They need to be reprogrammed. You know, just to get to work, you get a time card and all of a sudden that shit just stops working. And you got to go to HR, you got to be issued a new time card, you know what I mean? Or badge. The niggas know you.
They you.
Yeah. No, you can't. If it's not working, we can't let you. I've been working here for 5 motherfucking years. I'm the same person today as I was yesterday, as I am now. Well, it's not. Badge ain't working. You guys, bro. I had to clock in. I don't have time for this shit. You know what I mean? Like. Right.
Yeah.
You know, remember those days, a couple of years, you know, going back, you remember the people that were sitting at the AP office waiting to clock in, you know, and then they want to give you a hard time. You know, my badge ain't working.
That's the only way you can really get control.
Right. So we're gonna finish on the secret council because that all kind of ties the information we're bringing out together.
Psalms chapter 64, verse 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity.
Now get the word for insurrection. Now I already know what it is, but I want you to get it. All right, the Hebrew there should be ragash.
So the Hebrew word would be radash.
Ragash, right?
Yeah.
Go to the root.
Now the definition would be trog and company.
Go to the root of the word.
The root word would be from. It would be from.
You sure you're still on the word insurrection, brother?
Oh, yes, sir. Yep.
'Cause I was just looking at it.
Okay, oh, my fault. Sloppy. It would be a primitive root.
Now read the definition.
Definition would be to be in tumult or
Right.
commotion.
Also,
Yep.
And
Keep
to
going.
conspire.
conspire.
To conspire.
There you go. Reading together.
That's right. That's
yeah,
right.
conspire is con with,
Right.
inspire like together,
Work
like a breath.
Exactly.
You know, so they coming together, right? With all these
To
different
fulfill that
thoughts.
new world order.
Yeah, the NWO, the
The
enterprise.
NWO. A one world government.
That's right.
All right.
Reading together.
Remember, the reason why I want the brother to read that, because, you know, we talking about all the plans and the things that Esau want to do, but at the end of the day, the will of the Most High will stand. He's only going to get so far. That's why the scriptures say that while he is eating, okay, right? In his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. The Most High will rain down it upon him while he is eating. So just as he's able to set certain things into place, and he's going to make the sea hit mandatory, right? Do a hostile takeover, all right? Like brothers are going into with the whole Constitution. They totally violated your civil rights and everything else like that.
Yeah, with the C-19 on top of that.
Yeah. They're not going to listen to that. First of all, you're going to be looking at the other end of a what they call an assault, advanced weaponry, trying to argue what your rights are at that point. They're going to fucking kill you. They ain't going to debate with you. It ain't going to be a fucking deliberation.
They're gonna send some dogs in. Robotic dogs in.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to send them robots at you. Real talk, man. They're going to send them damn robots. They're not going to argue with you. What was that movie? Damn.
might predict that you're gonna do it.
Remember there was that?
I'll go.
Remember that movie?
What?
Where they were outside their house and there's something was going on and they were violating curfew. They had so many minutes before the robot blasted them to hell.
Oh shit, I don't know.
What was that? Sci-fi movie?
I don't know.
Damn.
You know what I'm talking? There might have
Black
been.
Mirror, but I think they're like, listen, get in your house.
Right.
And it's like they didn't listen, and then the fucking thing just
Just
blasted
zapped
it.
them in the. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple sci-fi movies where they.
I forget what it was called, but yeah, man, they're already showing you through their
be some-
predictive
might be
program.
some
It's all
Black
predictive
Mirror.
programming. All right. This is not science fiction. Okay. Fiction meaning false. This is reality.
Yep.
This is reality.
Well, yeah.
Remember, that's left-handed prophecy.
Yep.
They show you what they do before they gonna do it.
Yep.
But the point is with all that technology and everything else, the Lord is gonna lift up a standard against him, and he's not gonna complete his NWO.
Yep.
He's only gonna get so far with it. And this is why they trying to put a cap on the flow of information and try to juice up as many Israelites, and they not really wasting any time. And this very well may be the year where all prophecies come to pass, because the time is short. They have a very small window. But even if they try to advance to their ends and, you know, try to fulfill this thing this year, the Lord is still going to put a roadblock, so to speak. Okay? Throw a monkey wrench in there. So they're going to be met with resistance. Brother said that earlier. The apostles go into that all the time, especially Elder Apostle Tahar. But these Bible Belt Edomites, all right, and these Second Amendment Edomites, okay, these militia groups, they're going to be met with a certain level of resistance.
Hell yeah.
You know? So it's going to be turmoil. It's going to be chaotic out here.
So they show that,
And like the brothers just did the algo, right?
the Dallas.
Systematically, your cards and your accounts could be froze and stop working. That's going to cause
You can't
a whole
do
bunch.
nothing.
Yeah, if everybody simultaneously, like let's say, when they were saying that, I was imagining being at like a damn Wawa, gassing up, and everybody just looking around at each other like, what the fuck, my shit ain't working.
Yeah.
Kind of like Bank of America a week or so ago.
Yeah.
people went to go get access to their money, and they couldn't get or it was gone for whatever reason. Something like that could happen. Now they're talking about that balloon in the air, that it might be some sort of either spy or possible EMP. You know, which they saying they're not going to shoot it down. So that means they allowing whatever it is to be there. And yeah. Yep, that was just recently put out, a day ago, yesterday. But anyway, point I wanted to make was even though they had this plot, they got this scheme, the nations are working together. See, the Lord going to interrupt all that. The Lord going to cause fire to rain down from the heavens, man. They're going to exchange ICBM missiles, hypersonic missiles. Okay, the Lord going to rain his pure fire down from the chariots. The Lord going to redeem his elect, right? So you ain't going to do nothing of your own accord. You're fulfilling the will of the Heavenly Father. So I just wanted to, highlight that point. I wanted to exhaust that point, that you're not doing anything outside of your means. The Lord giving you the power to do certain things until an appointed time, all right?
I know that.
So you
Oh, yeah.
You could get some of them off the ground. Other ones, they might not be able to get off the ground. They could, quarantine a neighborhood and then put the robots in the neighborhood. There's a couple of sci-fi movies and TV shows you can watch where they trapped in a neighborhood, or you get to like a wall and they can't get through the wall, or it's a portal to another dimension or something like that. Esau, what he want to do, he want to corner your neighborhoods off so it's more easy to control the population that's in that specific area. And so finish Psalm 64 off, and then you got a precept you can hold them. All right, you got a precept too?
I'll go. Psalm chapter 64, verse 3. Who weld their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows.
Sharpen means to sharpen. What?
Even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect.
Yeah, the perfect of the Israelites. Right. Good.
Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privately.
Yeah.
You know what? That could be martial law, which that is a plot, a plan. All right, could be quarantining cities, neighborhoods, areas to control the population. All right. You got military vehicles, policing, taking the place of the police. All right, and they could put the robots out there. They could put stations to govern certain neighborhoods. All right, they'll definitely have the park blocked off. Or if they don't have the park blocked off, like say West Philly, whatever, North Philly across the bridge, they'll have the neighborhoods blocked off. Then everybody had to be accounted for. You get that in the Ezra's. I usually leave that there. Psalm 1.
Isaiah 10. It says Isaiah 10:1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and the right grievousness which they have prescribed.
Yeah, those are laws, right? Esau is so much of a devil. He created laws, and the Constitution, Bill of Rights is supposed to be the law of the land, but then he'll create other laws that trump those laws. Yeah. That's perverse. It's crooked.
And then what he's doing, what Esau does, he basically makes problem, reaction, and solution. So basically, in order to get the minds of the people ready to accept these new laws coming in, again, he creates a problem, reaction, and solution. He makes up a problem, so the people react a certain way, and then he brings in his new law. Okay, well, this new law will help you. But those are those unrighteous decrees. For example, like Second Amendment, how Esau is just having these set up guys, like school shootings and stuff like that.
Right. Well, he'll entrap some people to buy weapons.
Yeah.
But they're really selling weapons. They wouldn't be able to get the weapons if it wasn't for the government. But then they'll go in, arrest the dude, you trying to buy a weapon. That's entrapment. How the fuck you do that?
Yeah, and another thing
they do
is...
the same thing with drugs, too.
Like, another thing is when, this pestilence, when it first started, when shit was going down, Esau literally had people set up, they, deliver bricks, to like
Oh, for protesters.
Yeah,
Oh,
for protests, so you
Oh,
don't think
yeah,
it's just break
Staged
shit.
bricks.
Antifa, they were doing that to
Yeah,
Antifa.
yeah, Antifa.
Yeah, and then
George Sawyer's group.
yeah, I'm pretty sure like brothers remember, you know, that one cop who was just breaking the windows, so people just, you know, go in and, you know, just start looting.
Yeah, so they could
Where you
basically
want it?
have a strong police presence.
Yeah.
So they could justify declaring a police state.
Noted, bro. Note that fast.
No, you just wherever direction.
I didn't feel it. You feel it?
Well, why don't we just put it like in the center of us instead of up? I mean, cause it'd be better if it's lower, because the hot air is gonna rise. So we don't want it up chest and above, because then we'll be missing the
You
heat.
gotta
I
watch
think.
that.
Nah, that was it.
I had a precept too.
Gone. Isaiah 10:1, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed.
Slaki, did we finish Psalm 64?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. And then
Oh,
the
wait,
hour of temptation. Go ahead, finish that. Finish that. I'm just keep reading.
Oh, gone. It says, verse 2, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people.
Right, the needy is the Israelites, right? And our right is to know our identity. We're the children of Israel.
That widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless.
Yeah, because when you split the family up, the woman and the children are easy to control. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, think of how this system destroyed our women. They're totally dependent on assistances. And, you know?
Father that established the house.
Yep.
Women will follow anything that looks they're decent. You know,
Right.
and how they into
Right.
strict.
Right. That keeps them in that state of comfort. That's the thing. Keeps them in a state of comfort. That's where they get this evil mentality that they don't need a man, so on and so forth, because these benefits have essentially put them in a particular social status.
Yeah.
You know, where they don't really need anything from a man.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, women are breadwinners now.
Yeah,
Women are
they
able to
got
go into the
houses on
corporate
their
world.
own.
Like outside of the benefit, you know, having to get
Yeah,
assistances.
household,
You know, they push that mentality, that so-called equality. You know, which again is against the scriptures. You know.
Even if a woman's rich, she's still under the law supposed to have a husband.
Yep.
So it don't matter how much money or education a woman has, she's supposed to be somebody's husband.
Right. And remember, they gave them liberty to gad abroad, which only made them more promiscuous. That's all they gave them freedom to do. That and to pay taxes. You know. So these people that believe in all that shit are really stupid, man. The only reason why you in the workforce, all right.
You gotta move that.
The only reason why you got put
You know,
in
got-
a corporate office is so you can pay tax.
It's probably gonna burn.
So they just extracting more resources from the people. That's all. But anyway, that's just a side note. You know. Because there's coming a day, Salaki, I guess the point would be that there's coming a day where a man is going to be more precious than that of fine gold.
Yeah,
When those
teats.
yep, exactly, brother.
Fucking
When those
teats,
resources stop coming in, those assistances stop coming, and that the only way you can have access is through the sea hip, the people out first. Like I was mentioning, if there was ever an EMP attack or whatever, they're going to not let a crisis go to waste. So they're going to allow it to take its course. Okay?
Yeah, because the bankers don't care about America anyway.
Yeah.
They already believe it's going to be burnt up anyway.
Remember, they already got it in your mind that there's a shortage of certain things. So if there's an attack on the grid, you know, on top of there being shortages on food and other resources and chips and certain materials, it's just gonna play right into that.
I went to the store yesterday trying to get light bulbs. I couldn't even get light bulbs.
What happened? Why?
They ain't having them in stock.
Nah, they out of
Yeah.
that shortage.
Right, whether it's deliberate,
Yeah.
whether it's real, whether they just holding it off in a facility somewhere,
Yeah.
you know?
Holding it
Because
back.
like when the brother was saying about the military, the first places that the military is gonna go is the different warehouses to regulate the supply and flow of goods.
It's military law. Yeah, they had the laws set up to take control of resources, people,
Right.
security, utilities. Yeah. It's the military ruling. Yep. So when the time of the war, the law is cited.
Right.
So that's going for the Constitution, Bill of Rights, all that.
Right.
You respect the countries.
Right.
You have your laws and everything.
Right.
In the time of war, that goes, all your laws, they're silent.
Right.
The military has their own set of laws to control your movement and resources.
Just want to add on to that point, like the elder brother was saying earlier about how you think about how they'll just restrict the flow of movement. Well, what that made me think of, naturally, if something happens to a police cruiser and you happen to be coming by, they can commandeer the vehicle. Well, under an executive order, they could seize all public transportation and even private and make it their own. Because if it fits to the so-called betterment of the
Mission.
right, then they're going to just take it. You're not going to say, oh, that's my car or this is my house. No, they could set up this camp right there.
Police and firefighters can already do that.
Yeah.
In private property. An emergency.
Yeah.
They can put out a fire or whatever. They can park in a truck.
Right.
In the driveway.
Well, I seen a
Set
video.
the fire out.
Nah, they can do that.
Yeah. I seen a video.
The authority.
I seen a video. Somebody parked near a fire hydrant. They blew out the damn window
they
and
done
ran the
bust
hose.
that joint.
Ran
What
the
they
hose.
need to do?
Ran the
Boom.
hose right
They
through.
got a law on that, yeah.
Yeah.
Put the hose right through they fucking.
So how much more in martial law, you know?
Window.
And they got all these executive orders.
And it's also why you can't booby trap your like house and stuff like that. Like, say you were to booby trap it just in case like enemies or whatnot were to come into it. They also don't allow that because like if like fire department or police department had to come into your backyard or something like that, and you have a booby trap, like it's like a lawsuit.
Yeah.
It's a liability.
It's like for example, a lot of them Ephraimites in North Philly, they got the houses where it's all like barred the fuck up, right? Which ultimately what they want to keep fucking burglars out. But it's also a fucking walking death trap because if there's a fire in that motherfucker, the fire department got to come with a fucking saw and fucking jaws like all them bar. No, you're gonna burn in that motherfucker, and you breaking
Or
different.
if you're trying to get out
Right.
on your own, and you don't remember where the key is.
Yeah.
Well, that's
It's
really
over.
any door, really
Yeah.
any door.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but that's an extra door.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
you going to cook.
And you see they break different L&I codes and stuff. Ephraimites be barring themselves in these fucking hoods and shit, man. Different fences over 6 foot and all of that. Yeah, they just penalize them, on their, on a record. They send it, or they tell them to tear it the fuck down, right? Yeah, tear it down, or we gonna, you get charged in violation. Not up the code. That's Esau. He makes the code. What's that? Psalms 94. But yeah. I had another free, but.
Robert,
Yeah.
Revelation.
All right, Revelation.
Our
What's that?
temptation.
Our
10.
temptation?
Grand 10.
Yeah.
Revelation 3, verse 10.
And they get cities can be cut off in Ezra's.
Oh.
15 or 16.
Revelation 3, verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth.
Yeah, our temptation. That's when the law is going to be ruled by the military. Is going to be the law. No more Bill of Rights, Constitution.
All right.
It's going to be a military law. All right, and the military is going to dictate, or whatever they say. They might create another faction and call it something else. Esau's Satan. So, it's going to be other laws besides, the Constitution and Bill of Rights. It's going to be whatever Esau say at the time. He kind of do that anyway, But we still got some freedom as of right now. That's why we got the liberty to preach. So that's why the Lord gave us the liberty to preach. So while we were able to, we can warn Israel about the coming danger, the impending danger.
Well, that's what that thing was.
Right?
I was
And only the elect are going to understand it. This is easy to understand to the elect. If you're of the elect, you can understand it. You can look at history, and you can do some research. You can see exactly where it's going. All right. Just look at the National Defense Authorization Act 1 and 2, Patriot Act 1 and 2. All right. You look at how militarized the police are getting, local police, your township, city police are getting. All right. So it's evident Look at the money system, how it evolved from minerals that came out of the earth to now it's a credit card. It's plastic. So it's evolved, and now it's your phone, electronic device. Then it's going to become the grain of rice. Or they got the new ones now that flat. They got the flat. I'm not making a hand sign. They're flat now, so they have different types of implant chips. All right, you got the ones that's cylindrical, and they got the ones that are flat. So 209. Look up look up temptation.
Temptation.
They get
Erasmus is an experiment, attempt, a trial.
no. Look it up in Greek.
In Greek, yeah.
Right.
The root. Parazzo,
Parazzo.
to try whether a thing can be done, to attempt, endeavor, to try, make a trial of, test, for the purpose of ascertaining his quality, or what he thinks, or how he will behave himself.
There you go. How you behave yourself. That's what the hour of temptation is for. All right, to see whether we're gonna submit to and worship the image. You know, it's Esau's system, his laws, regulations, which includes the implant. All right, drugs. Whether we're gonna submit and worship the image. Every image has guidelines and the way you worship. Like you got a way to worship Zeus. You got to bring him food, wine, a sacrifice. That's how you worship Zeus or another god, right? So you have similar things you have to do when you worship Esau. His image, you got to take his branding. All right? You got to take his branding. That's one of the things to worship.
That's it. That's behaviors and manners associated with an image.
And what? Martial law. You're gonna read. They're gonna cut the cities off. So you got to be a certain place, certain time. They can organize you in the work brigades. I believe that's some of the executive orders. So basically, that's slavery. All right. So if they need a bunch of people to die, then you have to. They got to train you to build the damn to lay bricks or to cook food. You know, if all their workers die, or 70% of their workers die, they're gonna need just people to keep the citizens up. Because the government is nothing without the citizens. If we were all to leave, they would have no reason to exist. So,
Yeah, they have. Go ahead.
If you work for a company like Waste Management, they can commandeer that company and then make all the employees come to work, do exactly what you
take
want
trash.
them to do.
Yeah, they'll give you, instead of being private, now they got to go collect trash. Whatever they tell you to get trash at. Right? Or if you are a courier, you deliver packages or whatever, food, samples, material, people's fluids or whatever. They commandeer that company and say, well, you got to go pick up this at this spot, you know, for how long they say. All right? You can see that in a lot of post-apocalyptic movies, TV shows. They'll be in line, digging ditches, you know, they give you a stamp or whatever. This is your amount of food for the day, for the work you did, you know.
Yeah, well, the trash truck company is going to be one of the first companies that they commandeer because trash brings disease.
Yeah. Transportation company. Pretty much if you got a truck. So yeah, if you got a truck, then they're definitely gonna commandeer that. Especially if they're short, they don't have enough trucks of their own. It could have been a terrorist attack that destroyed a bunch of trucks and killed a bunch of drivers, you know. And if you got the skills and you were part of it and you buy into the system, which is the mark, like you get a license, right? The reason why they can pull you over and do all that shit to you because you agreed to obey the laws by getting that license. So Esau, we were contractual slaves. So that's Esau did. He was a fucking devil. A lot of people don't know that. When you agree, when you sign that paperwork, that you're basically signing your rights to be in their program. So if you take the implant, you're signing your rights to be within their program, to do whatever they tell you to do.
If I can say something, Slock,
Yeah.
talking about apocalyptic movies.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen it, X-Men Future Days Past. But it was a real good one in the beginning that shows you how Jake's going to be in the concentration camps. But in the movie, they got them as the mutants. And if you go into the history of X-Men, you know that the mutants are the Jakes. You know, but they show you in that movie that that's where Jake is going to be at. They're going to be rounded up and put in concentration camps. And they're going to be destroyed. But they don't tell you that, you know, in the media. You know, they act like everything is hunky-dory or Jake going to excel in this kingdom.
But their future is what? In concentration camps. They're gonna be destroyed.
Yeah, they can have fun now. They can buy
Yeah,
illegal
exactly.
items and all that, and cars and all that, look good, smell good, and all that. But the end is going to be some catastrophe is going to happen. Then they're going to declare martial law. Then they're going to start breaking up the cities, and they're going to start throwing some of you in concentration camps. You might be locked up in your house, or you might be locked in your neighborhood. They would quarantine your neighborhood off, like I said earlier, and put the damn robot in the neighborhood. You know?
Yeah, in China, you know, I had got word because I got this one dude in the world. He actually lived over there in China and stuff, and he had it during the you know, peak of the pestilence outbreak. You had their actual neighborhoods. You couldn't enter into the neighborhood without authorization proving that you live in that actual scheme or whatever. You know. So you couldn't just like, all right, I'm coming up here like Kayaba coming to visit me. Nope. No, you don't live here. Can't go. And also, it was one way in and one way out. It wasn't like they had that all like literally like checkpoints, you know?
We're going to read that in the podcast.
Yeah, kind of, sorry. Yep.
I
Yeah.
got a preset real quick. This is Jeremiah 18 and I'm gonna go to 19 first. It says, "Give heed to me, O Yahweh, and hearken to the voice of them that contend with me." It says, "Shall evil be recompensed for good? For they have digged a pit for my soul. Remember that I stood before thee to speak good for them," just like we're doing now, "and to turn away thy wrath from them. Therefore, deliver up their children to the famine, and pour out their blood by the force of the sword."
Yeah, so when bad shit started happening to them, you remember that, bro. You didn't believe us when we were preaching. You said we were crazy, evil. Everybody can be saved, all that crap, you know? You start to suffer, you know? 'Cause we have like the Christians said, we have a personal relationship with Yahweh Shai, with the Holy Spirit. So we are already convinced, all right? Because we go through the hardships or whatever, we're not going to give up the faith because it's already ingrained in our psyche. It's already in our spirit. So no matter what happened, like Esau, he not even offering a better deal. That's the thing. That's how stupid these fucking people are. They're not offering a better deal. They're just offering temporary relief, which is not even guaranteed. It's fucking insanity.
It says, "Therefore deliver up their children to the famine, and pour out their blood by the force of the sword." And that's gonna happen first in these cities, in these hoods, man.
Hatred. Yep. Yeah,
You know?
robots.
Yeah.
Let's say Esau gets to the point where if the Lord lets him do the robot thing, let's say that. If he let him do the robot thing, he quarantine the neighborhoods off, put the robot in the middle neighborhood. The robot don't have emotions, you know? Let's say a bunch of black cops in West Philly, you know? They quarantine the neighborhood. They don't give a shit either. But let's say they do for a second. The robots don't care. If they'll use a program and they'll do it remotely. So you're detached, so you'll have less feeling anyway, even if they are controlled. They'll have less feeling when they start gunning them down. Or hit them with electric shocks or whatever that's paralyzed them, then they come pick them up, throw them in a truck. So.
Yeah, and the weapons that you have, you're not going to be able to disable the robots.
Right,
You
yeah.
got small munitions weapons. It's not capable of destroying the robots.
Right,
that
and they
you
have
saw.
percussion sensors too. So if you fire the gun, the police know where the gun was fired at.
Yeah, I think it does.
So when that happens, they'll pinpoint where you fired the gun at. They're gonna know where you at anyway, and then they're gonna send a team to come get you and put you in the damn back of the truck, bound and tied. So you can fire a gun. They're gonna know it's a certain frequency the firearm emit, and the police can detect exactly where the gun is discharged at. So all that the gun that these people got, they ain't gonna do them no good. They can kill people, but they can't kill the machines. And that's if the people don't have armor. But
It says, "And pour out their blood by the force of the sword."
it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Yahweh gonna punish Israel, 2/3 of Israel in America and around the world. Israelites outside of America. For disobedience, for not taking heed. That's fine. We're good because we can't convince everybody that what's coming to pass is real. What we're talking about is real. We can't convince them. Convince brothers Israelites that the Lord woke up. The only people that are going to be saved are going to be people that know. That's how the Lord woke up. And that believe and that show some works, or if not works, display of faith. You know?
It says, "And let their wives be bereaved of their children, and be widows.
Shot, kidnapped by law enforcement, all right, because they're not complying, or they could be complying too. They could want to drag you away for a damn human trial for something. All right? A human trial for drugs, like they were doing in Holmesburg prison. That's the one we know about. That's the ones we know about. They were testing topical creams on them. Right? And they probably were giving them certain incentives to do it, you know. Maybe they got to get free time. I don't know how the prison worked back then, but they were volunteering, I believe, for the
Testing for university.
topical creams and all that.
Stuff, yeah, dermatology.
Which they was getting fucked up by them damn drugs. But
And it says, and let their men be put to death.
again, they're not reading this in the church because it doesn't. Because they're liars, pretty much. All they do is talk about forgiving your brother.
Yep, John
being
3:16.
strong through these times you're going to get and take the drugs from the government. All right, and they don't really tell you about the impending danger. So they might tell you about hell. You're gonna go to hell. They might not even tell you about hell no more. Yeah, they don't talk about hell no more. Because hell, I guess hell was too frightening. It might scare some people, guests away. All right? And if you're Catholic, all you got to do is confess and pray to Mary. I guess that's what you do. Do the cross, sing, and you saved. So accept Jesus Christ, and you saved. So you don't even got to go to church or donate to them or nothing like that. It's very, but that's not biblical. Not biblical at all. Go ahead, you got more?
It says, and let their men be put to death, let their young men be slain by the sword in battle.
And that's what happens when Israel goes off. It happened before, it's going to happen again. Every time Israel go off and following Yahweh Shai, the Lord sends his prophets out to warn Israel. All right, remember, Noah preached for, I believe, 100 plus years, if I'm not mistaken. 120 years. All right, so that's a long time. That's several, back then it was long. Now that would be considered long. Because you could live like longer years back then during Noah's time. But still, people could live and die and give birth to generations of children in 120 years. You can have 5 generations. Great grandchildren, in 120 years. All right? So Noah preached for that long. Right? You can build an empire in 100 years. You can build a great house in 100 years. You can have a whole economy that can be created and die in 120 years. So 120 years is a long time. Right? So we've been preaching, our elders since late 60s, and before that under different name. But since our elders, they're preaching since since the 60s. All right.
Yeah, another reason why the churches don't teach our temptation scriptures is because they believe that they're going to get raptured out of there before any trouble comes. The hour of temptation is just for everybody else.
Yeah, but that's not even biblical. You're going to be raptured after you go through tribulation, not before.
Yeah.
All right? So when we go through the tribulation, which means the hour of temptation, all right, then the Lord's elect are going to be delivered. But we have to go through the temptation. And through that temptation, the Lord is going to give his elect spiritual power. All right? And he's going to send the angels down to help us, just like he did in the past. All right? Yep. Go ahead.
It says, let a cry be heard from their houses when thou shalt bring a troop suddenly. It's like it. Let a cry be heard from their houses when thou shalt bring a troop suddenly upon them. For they have did a pit to take me, and his snares for my feet.
Troop is what the troop of the nations. In America and where we scattered about Europe, Africa, and China, wherever we're scattered at the so-called Middle East. Those countries' military, all right, are going to be going into their neighborhoods, killing people to maintain order. All right? And if they're not killing them, they're going to be putting the implant in you and telling you what to do. Right? And then the implant you may can get cancer. It tells you about the grievous sore in Revelation. So you could possibly develop some type of disease to that could kill you. Right? Because you're not supposed to be putting those things into your body, and then the spirit's going to be a spirit around it too that the Lord going to start cursing you.
Yeah.
You know?
Anyway, it's gonna be them, nanobots.
Yeah, well, yeah, that could activate with certain drugs that were introduced previously. That could be a recipe for stuff to activate in your body. That's true.
Yeah, who knows? It could probably be, that MOTB, could be, that little beacon, for them, nanobots.
Yeah, and again, they could put something. Yeah, the chips that we see are like generic. We don't actually know the actual devices they're gonna use to put in people. That could be laced with chemicals. It could have chemical on one side and the electronic parts on the other side. Then you put it in there. You pass through a magnetic field. It could mix together and kill you like that. Because what they're actually gonna put in this, the actual device manufactured from a specific company, we don't know yet. But they have several of them out there that's manufacturing a bunch of them from different companies. And just because you got one now don't mean that's going to be approved by your local government. But you got one now, like the Switzerland people, that's with Sweden, that might not even be approved by the government. So you might have to get the official one that the government's instituting. That could be, they had the real shit in there that could fuck you up. Right.
Because you think about these
like the cryptocurrencies.
Biohack community.
Right. Yeah.
They have a chip to access their car. They got a chip to access their house. Then they got a chip. Right. So now it's okay. Well, we need the chip to be multifaceted, multifunctional. So we're just gonna do one chip for all things. So you gotta take this one. They're obsolete. That's the first edition. You need to get the final device.
The V2.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the goal of these things. People mandated to chip their pets.
Yep.
Otherwise you get a $500 fine.
Mandate.
Or it has to be administered by an actual official, right? The government.
That's still going.
Yeah, and then and then what they say one of the metals they use in the Sharat was graphene, and then basically when you put the 5th generation radiation or whatever on the graphene, it was able to be manipulated and like
direct shapes
like make like certain shapes and stuff, so probably possibly cause clots and stuff.
That's why Esau said, don't do the research.
Yeah.
Don't do research, because when he actually do it, we don't know what type of device they actually putting in people's bodies. So that's why you should never take stuff that you don't know the ingredients of.
Yeah, that's why out of nowhere, a lot of people just started dying out of nowhere.
Unalive.
Right.
Yeah, unalive. Basically, he probably just turned up, the heat on that, and then,
Right.
for those who got
they
that.
experienced something. Experienced something in the environment that activated it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's common,
Yep.
Esau knows it.
Yeah, like a quick
You pass through a magnetic field or something.
Yep.
You get scanned by a easy pass.
Oh, yeah.
That's a magnetic field you're passing through.
Yeah.
And that use your easy pass.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, all these different frequencies and shit. They have an effect on you. They have an effect on you. You be all of a sudden forgetting shit. Right.
Shit
Make you fucking feel dizzy. Got a headache out of nowhere. All that is because that interference of those frequencies is having an effect on your body, man.
Yeah. So it's like that high pitch, frequency, sometimes like the static.
Yeah. Sometimes you can actually hear it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you could actually hear that shit. Yeah. People that don't live in the cities or nearby cities, when they come into it, they say that because they're sensitive to it, they could feel it and hear it more. As opposed to somebody who's constantly being exposed. But if you ever wonder why, you start randomly forgetting stuff, or you might, not to be. You might not be like even right now. I'm fucking forgetting shit. But then they're gonna have 2 phones on me. You know. You know, I'm using one, possibly for the live, and then the other one to look up information. But anyway, the point is that these frequencies have an effect on the body, on the mind, cause all types of health problems. Right? They were saying that the frequencies that 4G emits is literally military grade. So how much more 5G and the potential there for 6G? Right. For the different effects that it can cause. So that's all I wanted to say.
I got a precept with it. This is 2 Corinthians 2:11. It says, "Least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices."
So we know. And we know Esau what he's going to try to do. First thing, one of the most powerful techniques is to separate, quarantine people. All right. Say,
We getting ready to wrap up.
yeah, that's one of his main objectives. His main powers is separation. Order through chaos. Make it so people hate each other, dislike each other. Democrats against Republicans and all that crap.
Egyptians against the Egyptians.
Yep.
Satan against Satan.
Yep. That's how we know Esau kingdom can't stand. Impossible. Yep. That was it on that? Yeah. All right. Who has next scripture? Are you finished with 2 and 9?
Yeah.
You finished with that? I wanted Ezra's.
Oh, 2 Ezra 15 verse 16.
All right.
2 Ezra chapter 15 verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power.
Not regard kings, right? Even though they're not going to regard the kings, it's still going to be an hour of martial law. Right? The people are not going to be victorious over the government. Right? Because they're establishing the new system. What they're going to do is they're going to kill a bunch of people. All right? So you're going to get the first wave. I can see a lot of officials being put to death, getting trapped because they're public people. What's one thing in that Constitution? I think the First Amendment. So we're allowed to to see in the course of their duties, something like that.
Yeah, you can.
We're allowed to view our elected officials in the course of their duties, something like that. In the First Amendment.
I was just looking at continuity of government. So in the event that there's a major crisis, all of these different politicians and stuff like that, the main ones are going to be hiding. They're going to be giving orders from wherever they're secure at to try to keep everything flowing the way it's supposed to. Which is going to end up like the brother was saying, it's just going to end up being one big military operation at the end of the day.
The city officials, if they can escape.
Right. But this is why. Exactly.
If they have time.
Exactly, because these people, remember, we're going to read it, it's going to stand in the power of their hand. Now, that word sedition means speech that incites a rebellion against an authority. And that's what you're going to have happen. People are going to be starving. People are going to be losing their minds. People ain't going to be listening to what the hell they got to say. You want me to I'm over here starving. I got to feed my family. Some people are going to because they're afraid. Some people are going to bend to the will because they're afraid, because they don't have no other options. All right? But that's the old saying. When people have nothing left to lose, they what? They lose it. Then people are like, man, fuck this goddamn shit. Yeah.
Police, city hall, firefighters, you work at city hall, you a town clerk or the city attorney, all the prosecutor. Those are people that are going to be getting snatched up and put to death. You work for even maybe the Parks and Recreation, Streets Department, all that.
Didn't pick up my trash.
The people might blame them. Blame them for what's going on. They grip them up. So of course they actually stand in power until the military come in. You know, so if you work for the city, you better fucking take your uniform off and run. Or township, whatever town you're from, every city like town has the same thing. They have the city hall, they have the attorney, the clerk, and the different powers go down. Yeah.
The thing of it is there's no in a real crisis. If the grid goes down, we have a real crisis like that. There's no way that they're going to be able to keep up with any of these things. I mean, when these government workers are out for even a week or 2 weeks, you see what happens.
Yeah, when they shut down.
It don't take long. It don't take long. Yeah,
for that shit,
exactly. It don't take long for trash to, and that's the thing. That's gonna bring fucking infestations, rats, disease. See, this thing gonna amplify. Like when this stuff happens, like Elder Apostle say, it's gonna be happening real quick. It's gonna be happening simultaneously and real quick. It's gonna be expedited. It's not gonna take very long for all this shit to pile up and people start. Look at fucking Skid Row. You gotta be careful where you walk. You might end up with a
fuck Skid Row. Go down.
Like, well, they say that Black Plague out there.
Skid Row in Philly.
Yeah, exactly. You got a Skid Row pretty much everywhere, but but I'm saying that it's so bad with feces and bacteria and piss and needles and all that mixed together that it's creating all these different diseases and stuff like that. Yeah.
And the city workers, all their salaries and their pictures are all public.
Yep.
All public information. You can look up there. You can look up what they look like. That's why that scripture's gonna come to life, because they're gonna know exactly what they look like. Yep. And some of them people know them too.
They hate them motherfuckers.
Yeah, all the police, all the firefighters, everybody working City Hall. Mm-hmm. They all took a portrait. And I think if you go into your local city hall, you can find all their pictures hanging up right there, or you can go right online and find out who the town clerk is. You can find out who the attorney is,
just
mayor, all that. All the police, you can find out their salaries, all that. You can look there. All city workers, you can find their salaries, and their picture of your firefighter, police officer.
Yeah, just like the people fucking broke down in Madison and stormed the so-called Capitol. You know, stormed the Capitol. Like they were fed up with the AK. You know, fed up with the bullshit, so-called.
What's his name?
And then they raided the damn Capitol. Or whatnot, but it's gonna be like that, but 10 times worse.
Yeah. So the point is, we know who they are. All right. The people know who they are. So they're gonna go out. When they start acting crazy, that's when they're gonna go after them, because they already know who they are.
Like they said, they were trying to go after Nancy Pelosi.
Oh yeah.
This person.
They're trying to say the husband is gay or something like that. They're trying to say. That's what I heard.
No, but I mean like when the January 6th
event. She was there.
They said that they were specifically targeting officials like Nancy Pelosi and stuff like that. That's what they were saying. That's what they were saying what they were trying to do. They said somebody ran. And then that most recent event, she supposedly had she's a top official. She's third in line to the presidency. She had no type of security. And the dude came in there talking about, where's Nancy? Where's Nancy? But who and then they released the right, that's very weird, but they did release the police footage of when they got into the thing and they seen the guy with the hammer, and then there's her husband holding
Oh yeah, I see that.
Yeah, and the cops are like, and the cops are like, so what's going on? He goes, oh, and then all of a sudden he just hits a guy, and then the police react like, it seems so staged, but
exactly.
But like I was telling this brother on camera, basically they're gonna have a mob mentality. So they're gonna see these officials trying to sneak out the back door, or whatever. They're gonna go after them, but then they're gonna just kill each other. They're gonna turn on each other. That's not gonna satisfy what problems you got. Remember, they're gonna be a crime for wine in the streets. So when they go to the official and the officials tell them what they don't want to hear, they're gonna go after them if they can get a hold of them. Then they're gonna kill each other. Oh, what do you got? You know, what resources you had? Invading one another. Well, the scripture gonna go into it. It's gonna go into it.
They might rush the entrance, and technically they might close off and then let the security that was up front get tore up by the mob. But they got the gate in the back closed, and they just start picking you off from the top like it's a zombie, kind of like Resident Evil or whatever.
Oh yeah.
It was World War Z.
Yeah, and that's another thing. We're gonna see some things, man. Lord said it's gonna be unlike. We gotta get Daniel 12 because it's gonna be a time like never before seen. You're gonna be seeing things that it's just gonna be terrifying, horrifying. That's why we're gonna need the Lord. There ain't gonna be no way to escape without the protection and hedge of our power. Like when them people were doing them damn fucking bath salts and shit. Yeah, like they ended up with some crazy, like, you know what it reminded you of? Yeah, super strength. Like they got real aggressive and you couldn't stop them. I remember there was a video circulating where the officer was fucking putting shots on the guy and he was still coming at him like, yeah, he forgot the golden #1 rule. Aim for the head. You know? Yeah, come, we about to wrap up. So whatever. Yeah.
Verse 17. A man shall desire to go into to a city and shall not be able to. Shall not be able.
Keep reading.
Pretty much. Verse 18.
Desire to go into the city, meaning they're going to cut the cities off and you're not going to have freedom of movement.
And we already seen that.
Yep.
Okay. They already set that up. Okay. Because when this thing was going on, they weren't allowing you to just go into one area and another. And if you did, then you had a quarantine automatically for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
So they already, put that out there.
Essential travel,
Right.
non-essential.
So are we saying we just re-solidify, like we know this, but we re-solidifying that point because you have a lot of people that aren't putting the pieces together. Okay, they still denying that these things could happen. Or why would they do something like that? Because they're diabolical, they're evil, they're the wicked.
Yep.
They trying to retain their blessing and their power and influence over the earth, which is, set and designated for an appointed time, and then after that, it's time for them to go down. That's what it is. It's like.
No, I was gonna say, remember when they did that for the Pope when they shut the city down?
Yeah.
Well, those are examples. Those are examples of where these things can happen.
Yep.
These are examples of how these things can happen. So in the right disaster, this prophecy is going to take place. So we've seen elements of this prophecy, but overall, that prophecy is yet to be fulfilled. Where they're going to permanently shut things down. Permanently. Right? Go ahead. Given the right event, the right crisis.
Verse 18. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. All right. Yep. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation.
Come on. Yep. Through great tribulation, through the troubled times that these people are going to experience and face. They're going to be every man for themselves, because they're going to be threatened with the inevitability of death. How they going to feed their family? All these thoughts are going to come to the forefront. How am I going to stay alive? How am I going to protect my family? How am I going to feed my children? They're going to have to deal with those realities, so people are going to bug out. They're just going to take what the next man has. They're not going to have compassion or pity. They're not going to spare one another. All right? So once they go after the officials, they're going to turn on themselves. All right? So that is pretty much self-explanatory. And through their pride, remember, people are emboldened. People are training for this day.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You got people training for these types of events.
Not niggas though.
No. And then the ones that are, they're going to be put to shame because you can't beat Esau at his own game and with his own blessing.
Yeah, ignorance is bliss until you get bashed over the head.
Right.
And that's what's going to happen to 2/3 of our people, man. I believe Jake made that statement.
Well, that's
quote.
Well, it reminded me of Mike Tyson. He said, "Yeah, everybody got a plan until they get punched in the face."
God, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
In that voice.
I appreciate that.
Khan, we finished there, but I just laying back on off the point that the scripture was saying about these people's pride, man. They're gonna go in there, but they ain't gonna come out alive. But it's gonna be crazy bloodshed. People are gonna turn on one another, not gonna be compassionate. That's it. Even these little planned militias, all right, or organized militias, excuse me, right? Because there's gonna be a scarcity of There's gonna be a that's timing. That's timing for you.
Yo, that's crazy. Fucking Satan.
There's gonna be a scarcity of resources and of security. So This is what's gonna cause these people to bug out, man. Ultimately, you know. And this is why we're gonna need the Lord to provide those provisions.
Scarcity of nurses, hospitals.
Right. Well, we went over that a week or so ago about how, you know, if you end up getting injured out here and this thing gets infected, yeah, you don't have no painkillers. You know what I mean? You're not gonna have access to those things, and here it is, you know, you leg damn near falling off. You know? Cauterize it. Yeah, cauterize the wound. But how many people got the strength to sit there with an iron brand in the fire and then go? Usually in the movies, they gotta have somebody else do that shit. They gotta turn, look away, bite on a cloth, or, you know, get.
Yeah. And the next scene shows them fucking pass the fuck out, waking up like fucking hours later, day later, talking about damn.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. That's we just painting the picture, the illustration for what the scriptures say. But you know, when it actually is happening, man, it's gonna be real. It's gonna be real. It's gonna be severe, and it's gonna surpass anything that I could possibly put into words. So, go ahead, brother.
The water. This is Isaiah 9:19. It says, "Through the wrath of the Lord of hosts is the land darkened, and the people shall be as fuel of the fire. No man shall spare his brother."
Damn.
Like you were saying. Yeah. And it says, "And he shall snatch on the right hand and be hungry, and he shall eat on the left hand, and they shall not be satisfied.
Damn.
They shall eat every man the flesh of his own arm."
Damn.
Like we were saying, you gotta cauterize, but they ain't gonna be eating each other.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, because that's what I was thinking. Like, if you do get injured or wounded, and there's people around you that hadn't eaten in a couple of days, they gonna be looking at you like you see the old cartoons, where the person turned into a damn turkey, chicken or something.
Yeah, that's right.
So like, was there more than that?
Yeah, that was the point. And it said, on top of that, they're going to do all that and then not be satisfied.
And not be satisfied. That's absolutely right. Because you got to think of the vibration that's going to be on the earth at that time. You be eating to stay alive, but you're still threatened with death and everything else. The beasts of the earth. No surety of thy life. You basically, these people without the Heavenly Father, without Yakalba Page on your side, you know what you're waiting for? The missiles to drop on your ass. So how could they possibly be satisfied? Death is going to be looming over them, you know, and they're not going to have no hope out of it. No real way to escape. That's the terribleness of the Lord, man. That's why we hoping we are the elect. And you ain't going to make it otherwise. That's the severity of what we're dealing with, man. That's why we gotta, pray and hope to Yakalba Page that we're gonna make it, we're gonna endure. The Lord gonna keep His Spirit on us. Keep hoping for mercy. We keep doing what we expected to do, then the Lord gonna provide. And that's written in the book of Sirach, the 2nd chapter. So y'all gotta read that. Go ahead.
This is Amos chapter 5:18. It says, "Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord.
Yep.
To what end is it for you?
That's right.
The day of the Lord is darkness and not light. As if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall and a serpent bit him."
Right. Now that scripture's twofold, but we're gonna focus on the one layer of it. Basically, the judgment will be inevitable.
Yeah.
Right? You can't flee the judgment of the Lord. Ultimately. Go ahead.
It says, "Shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light, even very dark and no brightness in it?"
Yeah, no brightness. There ain't gonna be no hope in the future, right? Like they have now. It's gonna just come all of a sudden a time where things are gonna be better. Remember, they're gonna sell the C-hip in that manner. That's gonna be the be-all answer to the problems that the world has. Okay? Like when the money system drop out, when you got all these problems that will persist, that's what they're going to use to try to satisfy the concerns of the people. All right? But remember, that prophecy, once it's made mandatory, is going to cause World War III to happen. All right? In the midst of the C-hip being made mandatory, you're going to have Jacob's trouble when things going on. Remember, things are going to happen rapidly. Those are the two major prophecies that we're waiting on. Okay? And it very well may happen this year. Okay? very well may happen this year. Lord's will. This is the year 2023 that has been coined through the Spirit, okay, via our apostles. The year where all the hopeful prophecies, we're hopeful all the prophecies come to pass, okay? Yeah, so that was the scripture just outlining the picture, you know, what to, because really everything that we put in, it's going to pale in comparison to actually having to go through those events, especially the people who don't got no hope. But anyway, go ahead. Is that it? You got something? All right, we're going to end on that.
This is First Peter.
Right, well, if you got quick, you got to be quick.
Yeah, it's quick. This is 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 18. And it says, and if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear?
Come.
Yeah, so, you know, we just talk about how, you know, these people who are unbelievers and whatnot, they have no hope, all right? That's why the Lord is only going to save his elect. So, you know, it says, you know, the righteous is scarcely going to be saved, so, you know, we're going to be saved by, like, the skin of our teeth, man. Yeah. You know, barely, man. You know, it's not like, you know, we're just going to have it easy at Jacob's trouble. We got to go through our trials and tribulations. We got to go through the hour of temptation.
Much tribulation you shall enter the kingdom. Right? Most of it's going to be that a mental battle, you know? It's going to be physical too, but it's going to be mental. You know? But again, that's where our hope and faith in Yakalba Page is going to come in hand. And the knowledge and understanding is going to be the stability of our times. All right? See, there is no other form of training that's going to prepare you for what you're about to experience and witness in these times. All right? That's why we got to remain spiritual. Okay? Remain spiritual. We're going to really lean on Yakalba because he's our only hope out of this. Go ahead.
This Revelation 12 and 12, it says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Yeah, and ye heavens represents, you know, us, the ones who are in the truth. You know, because at the end of the day, we have our mind, you know, with Yakalba, and we don't have our mind on this place. You know, so it says,
Kingdom of heaven is within you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down onto you. Yeah, the ones who are, especially our people, you know, the ones of our people who are dwelling, you know, within, you know, they have their mind within, you know, Babylon and basically the world. You know, woe unto them, because, you know, what are they going to do? You know, because at the end of the day, they have their trust in Esau. You know, they have their trust in carnal things. They don't have their trust on the Lord, Yakalba. So what are you going to do when you need some type of divine intervention, you know, that get you out of the, you know, straits and situations that you're going to be caught up in? So it says...
Yeah, I have a question for these guys that don't want to teach the name. Who you going to be calling on in that day?
Yeah, and if you're not calling upon the Lord in his true name, then really you're calling upon earthly idols, you know?
Yeah.
So...
Remember, the name of the Lord is a strong tower, right?
Yeah.
He that runneth into it, right, is safe.
Yeah, so technically...
just run into it in a safe. Come on.
Yeah, so technically you if you're not calling upon the name of the Lord, then, you know, you will be deemed as, you know, being in the world. You know, you're not spiritual, or, you know, you don't have the what's the wrong one?
Yeah, you don't have the spirit.
Yeah,
you don't have the spirit. Spirit ain't working with you.
Come on. It says, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea.
You don't got the oil. That's part of the oil. Go ahead.
For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Yeah, like the brother was going into, you know, basically Esau just, he just winging it at this point. You know, he's getting sloppy. You know, that's why, a lot of people are waking up to what this devil is doing, because, you know, he's trying to rush things, you know, get certain things to pass, so, you know, he can fulfill his ultimate agenda.
Right. Yep. Yeah, a lot of people waking up, but at the same time, there's a lot of dumbed down people who are ready and willing to take whatever this man offers them. You know? And it has to be that way, because what did the Lord say? The slain of the Lord going to be many. There's going to be many out here that are going to be without the Lord, that's going to choose the ways of the oppressor. All right? And then if you're a heathen nation, well, there's no hope for you anyway. So it doesn't really matter what it is that you do, because you were destined to receive that judgment from on high. All right? And then, hey, after the missiles dropped, y'all other nations are going into captivity, okay, as the scriptures say. So, I mean, we'll leave it there. You know, we hope that you were edified. Okay, we want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto our power, Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem, Rakam Kadash. Of course, double honors unto our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect scattered abroad the four winds of the earth. Wa Abba Ball.
Abba Ball.
Shalom.
Shalom.